sherry. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have the Tamdhu, 10 years old, here on my cask. It's the normal bottling, the sherry cask bottling, not the cask strength, which is also on the market and which is not 10 years old, a little bit younger. Please be careful. There are two bottlings on the market of this 10-year-old sherry cask. There's the 40% ABV bottling from the UK and the 43% bottling for the continent. And this has probably the reason that the market of the 10-year-old whiskies is very much fought about, and you have to, save every penny you're able to save to keep the prices low. And in the UK, taxes, duty on the alcohol is quite high, several times as high as in France or in Germany, and therefore, you can save money by reducing the ABV, so street pricing. So this one is the continental bottle with the 43 ABV, and if you have a look at this bottle, it's wonderfully shaped, isn't it? Well, some people say there's only just one bottle. It's the standard liquor bottle, which is cylindrically shaped, and this one is a bottle. They looked in the Victorian ages, what was en vogue then, and the Victorian ages was when Queen Victoria ruled the empire and the world, and after that the Art Nouveau came, and this is the changing time from the Victorian ages to Art Nouveau. And I find this bottle wonderful, and some people say, it looks like a perfume flacon. The Tamdhu is 100% matured in sherry casks and natural color, no artificial coloring. For a 10-year-old, this is really dark. That does not mean that it's 100% first fill sherry cask. There may be a mixture between first fill and second fill sherry casks. I've seen darker ones than this one with an age of 10 years. Tamdhu was a distillery I visited twice, one time in '94 and the second time in 2005. And then they were still working with the saladine boxes for producing the barley. There you have the malt from the barley. You have the barley steeped into water, then put into concrete boxes, 20 yards long, 5 yards wide. I put a picture in here for you to see how a saladine box looks. And then germination takes place, and the barley, the barley converts to malt, and because there would be mold in it and sticky, and it's quite dampy with all the water and has to have a certain temperature for the germination. You go through with a metal, go through and forth with motors in it, mixing everything about. And this was quite time consuming to empty that. Filling was quite easy, but to empty it, you need labor. And today you have the drum maltings where you fill drums with this germinating barley, and then you just turn the drum around, and this mixes up sufficiently. And shortly after 2005, they stopped with the saladine boxes, and then they stopped with the distillery, and then it took quite a few years until they decided to sell the distillery, and during that time they sold whiskey from the warehouses, and Tamdhu belonged to the Edrington Group, and the Edrington Group also possessed the brand Famous Grouse, where a lot of Tamdhu is in, Macallan, Highland Park, Glengoyne, And the Ericsson Group is owned by the charitable trust of the Robertson Trust. And so they do not have the chances to raise money on the capital market and invest and go further. So when they decide to increase the production of Macallan, they either have to do it out of the profit they make, or they have to sell something else to invest in that. And the Robertson Trust, they give out grants for students and school children. So they need a constant money flow. And so they sold Glengoyne firstly to Ian MacLeod, and in 2012 or 13, 12, 11, 12, they sold also Tamdhu to Ian MacLeod, which is an independent bottler, and they are famous for their Chieftain's Selection independent bottlings. Missed something? Yes, probably. Well, and now they started production again in MacLeod at the Tamdhu distillery, and they said, well, we have more different bottlings. So after the 10-year-old, the cask length appeared, and there shall be more to come. But during the time between closing of the distillery and selling, they took whiskey from the warehouses because the buyer typically either do not have enough money to buy all those stocks with the distillery, or they do not pay enough for it. So they emptied the warehouses, and we do not know how much cask went over to the new proprietor. And well, in MacLeod, they were able to increase the bottlings from Glengoyne a lot. So we hope that Tamdhu will follow, but it's not clear how much casks are left. And shortly before they closed the distillery, they brought out a lot of old Tamdhus I were able to taste from a 25-year-old, an 18-year-old, and so on. And it looked to me as if they were emptying all those old casks out on the market, so that there will be no competitive possibility on the market against the old Macallan or Highland Parks. And well, most of the whiskey in the warehouses is typically younger for famous grouse, and so yeah. And here the story goes. We're not here for fun, we're here for drinking whiskey. I typically say not drinking whiskey, so this is a funny tale. Drinking is against a thirst, and we are sipping whiskey, tasting whiskey. Because it's not the amount of whiskey you swallow, it's the taste you're able to find in front of tasting and during the tasting. And afterwards, not necessarily the alcohol in your head. No, it's the aftertaste still carries on in you. Sherry. Lots of sherry. And a little sweetness, and roasted almonds, like on a fun fair. Yeah, and sweet cinnamon going over to oranges. It's quite straight. Vanilla showing up, caramel showing up. Yeah. So it's a really one-dimensional way from the sherry over the distillery character into a little spiciness. There is complexity already there, but it's dominated by the sherry. In the beginning, sherry, fruitiness, and then immediately coming up spiciness. Starting with an oakiness, not bitter yet, fruit, those oranges still carry on, and dark chocolate drier in the front of your mouth. Dark chocolate going over to cocoa, and some raisins probably. Spiciness and bitterness fades quite fast, and a friendly, welcoming taste carries on. Yeah. Wow. Spiciness quite strong if you have more on your tongue. And then, yeah, this vanilla stays and the sherry intermixes. Fruitiness starting, mouth-watering. So this is a wonderful sherry cask whiskey, which is, well, still, no, it's a little bit hefty on the tasting side. It's straightforward in your nose. It's very pleasant in the aftertaste, and in the tasting there's this intense spiciness, starting bitterness, which fades away quite fast. So it's not too long in those sherry casks. So it's a roller coaster in which you eat your sweet roasted almonds on a fun fair. Yeah. So, very well done, and hopefully there is more, as the proprietor Ian MacLeod. McCallum is the front man of Ian MacLeod. Yeah. So I hope they are bringing more in the upcoming years. So we're waiting for the next one. I think they will bring out mostly sherry cask whiskies. So they want to position themselves as a sherry cask distillery, which is not too bad. There are other sherry cask distilleries out on the market which perform very, very well. Yeah. Thank you for watching. There's more to come. Stay tuned. Feel free to add your comments on Whisky.com to my vlog and ask questions in our forum. I'm happy to answer them.